Yeah,
What's good, Trey? How you living?
I'm living large and in charge. Thank you so much for taking time to be with me here today. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm pretty good. It's a little snowy, a little cold up here in Seattle, so we dealing with it, dealing with a little bit of frozen ice, and I'm hanging though. Everything's cool. I got no complaints.
Right on. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited because you have a show coming up, but I want to go to the beginning of your musical journey. I mean, Digable Planets hit the scene and it was really a game changer for so many, and your contributions to hip hop are so large and wide. Tell us about the beginning phases of you going into the music industry.
Well, my music career really started at home with my parents, exposing me to a lot of different kinds of music, and then I started playing saxophone when I was in the fifth grade, and I went to Meany Middle School. Wadey Urban was my music teacher, and that was really where my musical journey began. And I really had a passion for music, which I think my parents identified, and then they kind of like helped it along by having me get into some structured situations as far as learning music and like that. So that's really how it started. And then my father's from Philly, so I always had East Coast roots. And back when I was coming up, New York was really the mecca for music, for especially rap. So since I had East Coast ties, I moved out there a little after high school, a couple years after high school, and started to jump into the music scene out there, working as an intern and working in the mailroom at labels and stuff like that, and just kind of worked my way up through doing demos and passing them out and trying to get a record deal.
Wow. Well, I mean, that right there is really the journey of so many, right? It's like how you work your way up from the bottom. But when you have a real drive and passion for it, I know that that's one of those things that pushes you towards it. Tell us a bit about how you got with the trio of Digable Planets. How did y'all come together once you started climbing the ranks in music?
So when I was wanting to be in the rap game, like this was in the late '80s, early '90s. It was really a group oriented um, um, sort of atmosphere. Like everybody had a group, you had different MCs in the group that had different styles. Y'all would come together under sort of a like-minded approach to the music, and then have um, have y'all group. So I always wanted to be in a group, even though I was making the diggable demos by myself at a studio. So I used to see Knowledge, the guy in the group with me, all around like Philly, DC, New York, like hopping around, going to parties in different cities and stuff. And I knew he rapped, so I asked him if he wanted to be in the group with me, and he said yeah. And then he was living in DC, going to Howard at the time, but he was from Philly, where I was living. So we used to just see each other and hang out, bust it up, talk about music, rap, you know what I'm saying, and just dream. And he knew Mac because she lived in DC. So I met Mac through him, and we all just got together. We all got along, started hanging out, and just dreaming from there, and that's how it all happened.
Wow, it's so great to hear these origin stories. I'm gonna tell you because honestly, there's so many different unique ways that people can really break into the business. I mean, but it's also one of those things that is forever changing. Tell us a bit about how you've been dealing with the changes when it comes to hip hop, because you guys are so solid and really represent such an amazing era, and it changes, it grows over time. But I'd love to hear how you guys are still rocking it out for fans even now. You guys got a show coming up. How do you stay engaged in this industry as it changes?
Yeah, well, in my opinion, it all goes back to the passion because it's always going to be waves, ebb and flow of success, attention, um, resource. So it's really just been the passion that we have that has allowed us to really try to navigate the changing environment, the changing landscape of being a music artist. And like when Diggable came out, I'm sure we represented a change, and the music industry was changing a lot then too, because you had a lot of independent record labels that were the only ones really giving rap any attention. And it wasn't until rap sort of used that outlet to get attention, then the majors started scooping up record companies, independent record companies as subsidiaries. So I'm sure to the old guard, that seemed like something like, man, where is this thing going? So as long as you keep breathing, it's like nature, things are going to change. But if you have the passion, you're going to be able to adapt because it's going to be necessary for you to adapt because you need to make this music. You need to express yourself in this way. So it's just a challenge, but all challenges is really opportunities to figure out a new way to work that system, engage with the system, flourish that system, and be a part of it because it allows you to do the thing that you got passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that is so true for any artist out here, even outside of music. It is so passion driven. And I think about the creative industry, in terms of my own roots. And you got roots here in Seattle. Of course, I got to talk about that. It's really interesting because my father said, oh, our grandmothers grew up together. So I grew up knowing Ish. And I'm like, what? My dad was Michael Robinson and his grandma was Johnny. I knew her as Mima. But it's so
Oh,
interesting to know that, yeah, it's such a small world, but it's a great
oh
thing.
man,
Yeah,
Miss
you, you
Johnny,
you know who I'm talking about.
I love Miss Johnny and Michael all and his brothers. Like we grew up a block away from each other. So when they got out here, it was just like we got along, played a lot of hoop together. Back then in the CD, the neighborhoods was real vibrant. Kids on every block, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I got fond memories of her, and yes, her and my granny was, you know what I mean? For real, for real.
Yeah, tight. Back then, we all had that was play cousins. So I know that environment. I know that
Exactly,
feel.
exactly.
Uh, yeah, I love that. But when you think about how you were able to kind of bring your Seattle roots, to the East Coast, yeah, I think it has something to do with the way you guys' sound was different and unique. Tell us a bit about how you brought your roots into your music.
Well, your roots is like a tree or a leaf, a branch. Seem like it might be far away from its roots, but in actuality, the roots are the foundation that allowed the leaf to even exist. So, like I said, I learned a lot of music from my teacher, Mr. Irvin at Meany, and from my parents and stuff, and they are the roots and the foundation. So it's just like I had a really solid base of life philosophy, musical learning that I feel like when you raise here in Seattle, I went to Garfield. The people I went to school with, you could put them anywhere on the earth and they was gonna make the most of it. You know what I mean? Just because the environment that we had was very rich. Our parents, wanted us to, be courageous and brave and believe in ourselves. And that really was how most of the people that I grew up with felt. And like in the schools and in the community, that's the type of thing that was nurtured. So um, I knew my passion was for hip hop, and New York was the place. But like, I definitely went out there with the foundation of being from here, and that's what allowed me to be able to handle the situations that came my way, and also make something out of them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
really, Seattle's really the essence of my ability and to succeed. Really, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I really appreciate hearing that because I think you can't really wash it away. So you got to embrace it. You got to embrace those roots and what, really poured into you, as particularly as a young person, as you're shaping your ideas of what the world is. And
Yeah.
so, you guys got a show coming up. Neptune Theater is going to be on the 30th. I know people are already buzzing in the streets about it. I cannot wait to see y'all on stage. Tell us a bit about bringing it home here to Seattle, doing this show coming up. Let the people know what to expect when y'all hit that stage.
Yeah, well, so everybody in the band is from Seattle. You got Thaddeus Turner, his brother Gerald on guitar and bass. We got the overall brothers, Casa and Carlos on drums and saxophone, and then the great Darius Wilrich on keys. So we've been rocking together for a lot of years now. And what we able to do is take the original music and really like use it as a starting point to sort of bloom it out into a live experience that is familiar because you can always recognize what the songs are, but it adds a little modern twist to it, and it gives it a big open sound with all the cats playing and stuff like that. So it's real exciting. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a lot of hometown guys that did good. You know what I mean? Bringing it back for the holiday season. Cats is excited. We've been rehearsing, throwing some really cool new wrinkles into the set. And then when the other digs fly in and grab the mic, it's gonna be a real jiggy experience. And I also want to thank Seattle too, because we always get a good reception here. But that show, the tickets is somebody told me it was sold out, so we ready to go. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Absolutely. I know
yeah,
y'all are gonna bring it. I'll be
yeah.
right there rocking with y'all.
Right on.
Thank you so much for taking time to be with me this morning on the Day with Trae. It means a lot. Love knowing that our families are connected. So I'll
Yeah,
always remember that,
yeah.
Ishmael. I'm so excited to see you on the 30th. And hey, keep rocking it, man. You are doing Seattle so proud. We are so grateful that you are from here and that you carry it with you all throughout the world and into your music. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, and same to you. You're doing your thing, and it's real dope. And I wish you success. Keep working at it, and sky's the limit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Thank you. I will
Yeah.
take that with me all throughout the day. Appreciate you.
Right on.
All right.
All right.